The wrestling world is in tears over Hulk Hogan's death, but I'm not. The tributes are pouring in. The WWE is churning out its carefully sanitized memorial. And the wrestling and MAGA world wants us to forget the racism, the abuse, and the predatory behavior of this man. Because, hey, didn't he have a great leg drop? So let's be absolutely clear about who this man was behind the bandana and the fake orange tan. This was a person whose entire personal life should have been a masterclass in human garbage behavior, and whose death doesn't suddenly absolve him and make him worthy of our tears. Remember 2015? When that audio tape leaked of Hogan dropping the N-word repeatedly, like it was going out of style? Not just once, as if that isn't bad enough, but over and over in a disgusting, frothing rant about how he would lose his mind over his daughter dating a black man. That was the authentic Terry Bollea, the real man behind this Hulkster persona. And what happened after that? Oh, that's right, a half-assed apology. A very brief WWE suspension that quietly ended. And then business as usual, because this is America, where any sin is forgivable as long as you're famous enough and make enough money for the right people. That same MAGA crowd that clutches their pearls over woke culture has no problem turning a blind eye to their hero's blatant racism, because at the end of the day, Hulk Hogan was one of them. The kind of guy who thought saying, "I have black friends," erases a lifetime of prejudice. And while his fans cheered his wrestling promotions, he was terrorizing his own family behind closed doors. His ex-wife Linda's memoir wasn't just some bitter tell-all. It was a horrifying account of his terror that spanned over decades. We're not just talking heated arguments. We're talking about a man that allegedly put his hands around his wife's throat, who threw lamps and tore her clothes during fits of rage, who created an atmosphere of control and terror that lasted until she finally escaped that relationship. And the most stomach-turning revelation of all is that he slept with his daughter's best friend. Let that sink in. This was a grown man in his 50s preying on a young woman who was practically family, who was in his daughter's inner circle, who he had power over in multiple ways. It's the kind of behavior that would get any non-famous person rightfully shunned from a decent society. And after his first marriage ended, he immediately rebounded with Jennifer McDaniel, a Hollywood makeup artist 20 years his junior. And when that marriage unsurprisingly failed, he quickly moved on to Sky Daly, a yoga instructor 25 years younger than him and had 3 children of her own. This wasn't about finding love. This was about a fading celebrity chasing youth and control. It was about a man who needed partners young enough to be wowed by his fading fame, naive enough to overlook his baggage, and financially dependent enough to tolerate his behavior. This pattern could not have been more obvious if he had a skywriter spell it out. And let's not forget, he was MAGA to his very core. He rode hard for DJT. He appeared at Republican fundraisers. He pushed the same toxic narratives as MAGA. He was in every way part of the machine that's tearing this country apart. And why wouldn't he be? DJT's brand of bullying, lying, and never facing consequences mirrors Hogan's own behavior. They were two sides of the same counterfeit coin. Men who believe that their fame and money puts them above basic human decency. Perhaps the most damning indictment of Hogan's character comes from his own daughter, who months before his death had revealed she had cut off contact completely after enduring a lifetime abuse from her father. A direct quote from her says that he was extremely verbally and mentally abusive since childhood. He used physical violence, used her as a pawn in family games, repeated cycles of her forgiving him only for him to betray her again and again. Her post was a raw cry from a woman who had finally found the strength to escape her abuser. The wrestling world wants us to compartmentalize, to pretend that Hulk Hogan, the character, and Terry Bollea, the person, were somehow different entities. I'm not saying you can't acknowledge his impact on the wrestling world, but I am saying that impact doesn't erase who he was or the harm that he caused, and that being famous shouldn't give somebody a free pass to be a terrible person. Real legends don't need their atrocities to be erased, to be remembered. Hulk Hogan is dead, and the world is a little bit lighter. My sympathy lies with his victims, the wife that he allegedly abused, the daughter he traumatized, the people he hurt with his racism and cruelty. They're the ones who deserve our compassion.